Hello? Can anybody hear me? Alright, seems like the audio is working fine now. This is the second time I'm filming this long ass video because there was nothing recorded before. Because one of my channel was switched to A, the other one was switched to B. And that never works. That's audio engineering 101. Alright, so here we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a massive blizzard in Washington, D.C. Yes! My very first major winter storm. And I am ready and I'm prepared. We're going to get anywhere from 24 to 28 inches of snow in the heart of Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is becoming the epicenter of the storm. Blizzard. The biggest blizzard in like 100 years, they're saying. So man, I asked for snow. And God's like, you want snow? Boing! Enjoy. But it's funny though, because I'm prepared. I went and got all the food, the water, the diapers, the wet wipes, the medicine, you know, all the extra stuff we'll ever need, including shovel, snow boots, sleigh, everything we got. But my wife was cooking yesterday some burritos, and we had guacamole and everything. And then I'm like, do you have cream cheese? She's like, no, we might want to go get it. So I'm like, all right, fine. You know, I'm all stacked up on everything anyway, including alcohol. Yes, I made sure I got alcohol, so you don't need to remind me. But I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go get sour cream. You cannot have a burrito without a sour cream, man, come on. So I walk into the grocery store. I walk in, I look to the left, and I walk out. It took me no more than 10 seconds. Because I saw the line from the cash register all the way to the meat department. It was nut house. It was like a tornado went already through the grocery store. So yeah, never ever drive a day or two before the storm or go to a grocery store. It's a madhouse. So anyway, guys, I'm sure you are not watching this video to have me blab about the weather, although I can be a great weatherman, quite entertaining. But today's video is on a very, very important concept known as Ascendant Nakshatras. Yes. And I've made 2 videos on this, I think, called Ascendant Nakshatra and Importance of Ascendant Nakshatra. But today we're going to go into the depth of it, is to really understand what is the Ascendant Nakshatra, what is the purpose of it, why it exists, why is there even Ascendant Nakshatra? And there's a very good point on this. Somebody on my Facebook page, you know, some fool just came and started blabbing, started using F-bombs. Astrology is this, astrology is that. Screw Rahu and Ketu, you know, you consider Sun as a planet, you're so stupid. You know, how come Earth is not part of the astrological knowledge? And I'm like, listen here, son. Earth is the most important part of astrology. Not because we live on it, but because Earth is the first house. Your ascendant, your lagna, your rising sign. That's what Earth is. Because when you calculate your rising sign, or anybody else's, right, how do you calculate it? When the sign comes up behind the horizon, it's coming up on the Earth's horizon. So you need Earth to make that ascendant for you so you can see what ascendant you are. And then regarding Sun, first of all, we all use Sun as a planet. I have used it and I still use it because I'm so used to just saying it. Okay. However, I do know the fact that none of the planets in astrology are planets, because Moon is not a planet. Moon is a part of astrology. Rahu and Ketu are known as planets. They're not planets. They're mathematical points. But what are these planets? Well, we call them planets. But the true Jyotishis, the Jyotish, back in the days, called them grahas. And graha has a very deep meaning to it. It is a one word that can be, you can write a 10-page article on it. I might do that one day. But graha in the most simplistic form shows which step moves across the horizon and helps us grow. That's what graha is. So what moves across the horizon? If you go outside right now at night, you're going to see the moon, Venus, and Jupiter or Saturn. And all the planets go across the horizon in daytime and nighttime. So including the sun. Sun rises and sun sets. It is a graha. And because of these grahas, our ascendant takes shape, the earth. Because of the movement of the planets, the earth lives, earth spins, earth has weather, earth has climate, the ozone layer, the magnetic field. So planets create us, the ascendant. So if every planet has nakshatra, which is the 27 constellations of the moon, the lunar moon mansions, the lunar mansions. So if every planet is in a nakshatra, how come your ascendant is not in a certain nakshatra? It is. But how come you're not giving the importance to the ascendant nakshatra? You should. This is why ascendant is actually the most important part, due to the fact there's a complicated, not complicated, I would say it's a simple system that I'll explain one day, called Ashtavarga. Ashtavarga, Binashtavarga, Sarvashtavarga, Kasashtavarga. There's Ashtavarga nadis. Asht meaning 8. Varga means division, 8 divisions. So this 8 division starts from the Lagna, the ascendant. Then Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So the 7 planets plus the ascendant. Rahu, Ketu do not count in this system because again, they're not that physical planets, they're the mathematical points. So today what I'm going to explain to you, unlike other 2 videos, I'm going to show you example as to what is this ascendant nakshatra is doing in a certain chart, a certain person's chart. And these are well-known people because you need to know that. If I can show you some person that I gave a consultation to, some IT person I gave a consultation to, some surgeon I gave a consultation to, it's not really that fun to understand because you can't really search on that person. You cannot call them and say, oh yeah, he was talking about your chart, let me talk to you more. No. When you know the people that are well known and you read about their life, if they have a biography, read about that, there you will see this underlining of the ascendant nakshatra power. Because see, we have many focuses in life. Ascendant nakshatra is not the holy grail. Because remember, we have something called our destiny, which is seen through Bhrigu Bindu, right? Sunil came and spoke about this. So Bhrigu Bindu shows destiny. Destiny doesn't really mean this is the end all and be all. Your destiny could be to just build a temple. And you build a temple and that's it, you die. Then you have your life focus. Wherever the ascendant is placed in your horoscope, that shows the focus of your life. Then shows where the moon is, how the mind is working with different things. And then you have the ascendant nakshatra, which shows the foundation on which you're going to walk on to achieve all these goals. So all of these things, when they're synchronized, makes us who we are. But it's always important, like I actually wrote an article on this if I did full consultations. When I did my full consultation, the first thing I did was I looked at the nakshatra. And that's where I spoke about the nakshatra. So before we get into this, if you do not know what your ascendant nakshatra is, what your planetary nakshatras are, very easy to find out. And to know all your planetary placements, all the astrological detail, including Ashtavargas and all of that good stuff. For that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects of the Speed of Light, including all my consultations at this link here. So, let's get started with this ascendant nakshatra. So, when you're judging nakshatra and trying to find out this person's underlining, the meaning of their life, or the path, the path that they walk on, is you look at the ascendant nakshatra, okay? And also, like when you get the report, you will also get an automated email, okay? That will give you the links to understanding certain parts of astrology. The thing that you want to look at is how to study a birth chart. I've made a 5-minute video, and it's just 5 minutes. You'll know exactly what your birth chart is, where your ascendant is, where your this planet is, where your that planet is, where your 5th house is, where your 11th house is. You'll know in no time. So please look at that Watch that video first if you're new to astrology and Vedic astrology. And then you can understand what your Ascendant Nakshatra is, where your Moon Nakshatra is, Saturn Nakshatra is. So when you're looking at Ascendant Nakshatra, the first thing you want to do is look at where the Ascendant Nakshatra is placed. Which house has it gone to, right? We know your Ascendant Nakshatra, okay? So okay, this is the Nakshatra, Ashwani Nakshatra, or it's Sastabhisha Nakshatra. Then you know the meaning of the Nakshatra. And I'm going to explain to you. And meaning has a lot to do with it, including all the little assertives in the meaning. Meaning, what is the caste of this Nakshatra? What is the Guna of this Nakshatra? What is the quality of this Nakshatra? Who is the deity of this Nakshatra? Which planet rules this Nakshatra? All that will also give you great clues about this person. And when you see where the planet is gone, that's what will show you that what underlining thing that will define them. That's part of it. So you gotta see, is it in the best of condition? Is it in the worst of condition? Is it in a neutral condition, or is it in pretty okay condition? And all these conditions will show you that how many rocks will be in this person's path to achieve their destiny, their goals, their life focus, their career. Then you want to see which padha your Ascendant Nakshatra has gone to. Which padha it's in. Okay, so if you have a zodiac sign like Aries, you could be born in the section of Ashwani, which is the first 13 degrees. Ashwani Nakshatra. Then each nakshatra, like Ashwani Nakshatra, is divided into 4 parts, known as the padhas. The padhas themselves has a meaning. One can represent birth, one can represent death, one can represent preservations, one can represent rejuvenation or spiritual enlightenment. Depending upon which padha you're on, that also sets you that. It's like, like a conveyor belt. Like you got 10 items in your factory, each of them have to go to the separate thing. So all these mass that comes, all these cookies that are coming, they're then divided into separate different flavors and different that, and they're packaged together. So with the padha, what's happening is, it is then showing you your ascendant of the Namansha chart, the D9 chart. So you want to look at the Namansha chart. Namansha chart, the ascendant of the Namansha is derived from looking at the padha of your Ascendant Nakshatra. We'll also go into the Sastyamsha, the ascendant of the Sastyamsha. So when you look at this, you're like, okay, this person is this ascendant. He's a, Cancer ascendant. And bam, they got Libra in the Namansha. So how are these two energies working? So we're going to look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 3 charts. Hopefully 3 charts, because I've done enough blabbing. And I don't know how much this is going to, pile up in my camera as far as millisecond is concerned. So depending on how much blabbing I've already done, I'll be able to show you hopefully 3 charts of well-known people, and we'll try to understand who they are and what the underlining is. Okay, so let's get started. So the first chart we're going to look at, okay, this is a chart of Angelina Jolie. Everybody knows who she is. Mostly everybody knows how her life started and where she has ended up today. So if you look at her chart, you notice that she's born in the Ascendant Nakshatra of Pushya. So what is Pushya? Pushya Nakshatra. That's the first thing you want to understand. What is the Pushya Nakshatra? Pushya Nakshatra is symbolized by the cow's udder. It represents nourishment. It represents taking care of something, nourishing something, loving something, longing for love, longing to have somebody else also nourish you. It's about finding comfort through something. Pushya is a nakshatra that represents, and this is the part of the things that I'm going to discuss, the category, it is the priest of the gods. Even gods need priests. They're like the agent of that source energy. Because what they do is that they understand the source energy and they want to become that agent of the source energy and pass it on to other people. That's part of this nakshatra. Then you want to know all the qualities. Pushya is a nakshatra ruled by the planet Saturn. Okay? And the symbolism of Pushya nakshatra is a cow's udder, because cow's udder, what does it do? It gives us milk. It nourishes us. It helps us grow. It helps us to get healthier and better. Without all the GMOs, of course, nowadays. Then the caste of this nakshatra is a royer, which we'll explain. Quality of this nakshatra is Pitta, the fire. And the guna of this nakshatra is Rajasic, Sattvic, and Tamasic. So all three gunas are in this nakshatra. Very important to know. And its quality is dharma. It's a very dharmic nakshatra, meaning that they have to follow a certain path. And its quality is also mutable. So now you know this, which we'll discuss. Then Angelina's Saturn, which is, remember, the ruler of the nakshatra, is Saturn. Saturn is sitting in the 12th house in the sign of Gemini. And Saturn also rules the 7th and 8th house for this person. So we get that. Then, what else do we see here? We see the fact that Angelina is born in the Padha 1 of this nakshatra. So as you notice, she's born as the Padha 1 of Pushya nakshatra, which is very important because this shows that the underlining of this person's life is to create. The creation part becomes very important. And then in the Namansha, we see the Leo sign, because the Padha 1 of Pushya nakshatra makes you a Leo Navamsha, Leo ascendant in Navamsha chart, which we'll discuss as to how this transformation takes place. But as I told you that the Pushya nakshatra Lord Saturn is in the 12th house in Gemini. So 12th house for Saturn actually is the significator of the 12th house, which is exit, moksha, losses, expenditures, isolated places. Okay. So what this tells me first, and this could be Angelina, this could be anybody with this position. What I see is that through losses and through going through heavy expenditures and through not being too responsible, this person is going to find themselves. So that's one thing I see. Then I see the fact that Saturn rules the 7th and 8th house. I see that this person, their path towards their all their destination will be through finding transformation in a relationship, escaping relationships, and not finding the true communication in their relationships early on. So through these losses, this person is defining their path. Then the next thing you want to see, where is the nakshatra Lord looking at? So Saturn is the Pushya nakshatra. Saturn looks at the 3rd house, 6th house, and the 9th house. So what Saturn represents is expenditure towards or finding the heavy burden through the family, through illnesses, diseases, enemies, social welfare, social reform, and is particularly the father. And if you notice, had the most troublesome relationship with the father. The fights with the father, we don't know what they said to each other, but whatever they might have said, whatever, her father acted as in her life, and what she observed, the energy that she got from the father, whether father meant it or not, it was defining her path in her life. And you already know the illnesses that she has gone through, the addiction problems. She almost, I think, was overdosed. And she just had a major breast surgery, so she's gone through that. And this is becoming the underlining part, which has nothing to do with her acting. Sure, Venus is sitting in the ascendant and Venus is in the nakshatra of Pushya. So Pushya nakshatra is being triggered by Venus. But we're not concentrating on what planet is in what sign. We're simply looking at the ascendant nakshatra itself. And then she's a Leo ascendant in the Namansha. So what does this show? This shows that by taking responsibility for her own actions, she is going to bloom like a flower. She's going to be expressing herself dynamically, and she's going to be seen as this lioness. Now, I've said all of this gibberish. How does this relate to Angelina? Well, Pushya is a nakshatra of nourishment. Pushya is a nakshatra of providing nourishment, looking for nourishment. She was longing for nourishment. Why? Because Saturn wasn't giving her nourishment. It was in the 12th house, dried up. She felt isolated anytime she ran towards nourishment, which gave the fire inside her. Remember, this is Pitta. The guna of this is Pitta, or the element, I should say. Through finding these losses of lack of nourishment, there's fire built upon her. Like, I am going to show everybody who did not show me nourishment. But then what happens? She gave nourishment. That's her life path. That's the defining thing. She's a mother of literally 7 children. She is wanting to give that nourishment now. Through all these experiences of Saturn, she wants to give that nourishment. And the fire, you see her, she goes to what, Somalia, or she goes to one of the Middle Eastern countries, and the heart of it, sits down with the girls, all the homeless children, and talks to the world about it, goes to UN, changes her life perspective, wants to donate majority of what she makes in the movie to all these third world countries. Why? Because she's a royal caste. The ascendant is defining her as a royal. That you think she's just this menace, drug addict, sex vixen. But no, she's a royal caste. She's willing to fight for what she believes in, what she wants to nourish. That's what it is. When when this person wants to nourish something, and they feel like they need to nourish this thing, they will fight all the way through it to nourish it. Then, the gunas of this nakshatra is Rajasic, Tamasic, and Sattvic. How do we see this? Angelina was literally known as a Tamasic person. Troubled teen, drug addict, running into all kinds of problems, all the in law enforcement problems. Tamasic. Rajasic came out and got all the money in the world with her movies. People started appreciating her. She lived a lavish lifestyle. She showed her celebrity. Like when she walked on the red carpet, people want to notice her. Then she's with Brad Pitt. Again, a Rajasic quality. She's with the king of Hollywood. Like him and Tom Cruise are literally, have been for a long time, these kings of Hollywood. Then comes the Sattvic quality. She turns herself into this divine mother. She wants to raise 5 children. She wants to help the third world country people. She wants to bring change into women's working rights in third world country by fighting with UN. She sacrifices her own health to go towards fighting for her, or I should say, following her nakshatra. Then she's the Padha one, the creator, right? Angelina Jolie has created things. She has created children that she wants to nourish. She has created these non-profit organizations, many of them. She has brought this new creative style of acting with her ability to boldly go and do scenes that no other actress might do. And then this Padha turns into Leo, which means underneath her ability to nourish something is a heart of a lion, which shows that through her own mistakes, through her own karmas and good and bad, she will rise like a royalty. She knows. It's not something I'm saying because she is. No, she knows underneath. Anybody with this type of a calculation or analysis, you should be telling that person, you, by these things, you want to rise and become a royalty. Now, I don't have much time left. I wish I did, but my editing system won't be taking this long video, plus my camera is showing the beeping light. But if you look at even Amitabh Bachchan, Dhanishta Nakshatra, okay, simple. Nakshatra Lord Mars is in the 8th house. Conjunct all those planets that you see, Venus, Mercury, Sun. So if you look at his life, has always been about transformation, life and death scenarios, and rising again like a phoenix. Whether he's an actor or plumber, doesn't matter. He's always died in movies, became super hit because of his Bhrigu Bindu, but also Nakshatra Lord. That's where he always likes to be. He likes to do these dramatic things, dramatic roles. He came close to death back in 1983. He got extremely sick, I think, back in 2006 or 2008. And he's always been this person who goes down, but then comes up. Goes down, comes up. But anyway, guys, I wish I could explain more. I would later. But if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. Again, if you want to know where your Nakshatra Lord is, what your Namansha is, all your other planetary placements, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, reports, consultations, and I will see you after the storm. Bye-bye.